Big news in Central PA as they announced their own regional sprint car series. I like it, but I do have some questions and concerns. Plus, Carson Hocevar's Dome late model wrap and possible sprint car hints. Dirt late model rumors about Chris Madden and Brenden Smith and more. Let's go. It's Wednesday, November 26th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Did you know that DIRTRACKR is on Patreon? You can actually find the show at patreon.com/DIRTRACKR. It's free to sign up there and just another way to keep up with everything dirt racing. If you sign up for the top tier premium membership, you can get the daily show ad free. That means no platform ads, no ad content from me. Members also get access to their own chat. There's some extra content and other perks. And one of those other perks include getting to ask questions and suggest show topics each week. And I actually reached out to Patreon and channel members for Brad's sweet questions ahead of my interview with him. If you want to join, hit up patreon.com/DIRTRACKR. You can also support the show on YouTube with a channel membership that gets you some added perks for just a few bucks a month. Click the join button at youtube.com/DIRTRACKR for more information on how to sign up. So in the midst of the Brandon Overton Longhorn Factory Team story we talked about yesterday, the big thing I didn't get a chance to dive into was the new 410 Sprint Car Series coming to Pennsylvania. This has been rumored for, several weeks now. I know Jeremy Elliott has brought it up a bunch of times, but we got the official announcement yesterday afternoon. Starting next season, a 47-race series will run mostly across PA with $1.8 million in total payouts, a $200,000 point fund, and $50,000 to the champion. All races will pay at least $6,000 to win and $600 to start. And the schedule will include PA Speed Week, and then races are being held at Williams Grove, Lincoln, Port Royal, Baps, Selinsgrove, Clinton County, Path Valley, Bedford, Bridgeport, Hagerstown, and Grandview. Obviously, we know Bridgeport and Hagerstown, not in PA. I'm just heading those comments off now. The PA Posse 410 Sprint Series is an unprecedented level of cooperation between tracks in that area, and I think is a welcome addition to the region. We haven't seen the schedule yet or the format, so no more announcements are coming. The release, though, it didn't come without some negativity, and I do have some questions of my own. I do think overall this is really great and very solid step in the right direction. I'll be curious to see how the schedule looks because there's been some chatter of scheduling against big national shows, and I'm curious to see how many teams actually run this whole thing. When word started getting around about this, I assumed 20, 25 races kind of felt about right for a series like this. So to me, 47 feels like a lot, especially when you factor in a lot of those tracks have regular weekly 410 shows also. With that many races, can they get all the top guys to commit for the full season? I don't think I'm out of line in saying this, but Anthony Macri, best guy in the area. But with everything else going on that he'll want to race in, I don't see the 39M doing all of these shows. And not having him there will certainly open things up, but I do think it's a problem that PA's top guy likely won't run all of these races. I know there are also concerns about ticket prices for the fans. That was a comment I saw over and over. And the streaming stuff is not clear at this moment. I know a bunch of fans will be hoping it all ends up in one place, but given what we've seen in the past with PA Speed Week, and knowing different tracks there have different streaming relationships, I highly doubt this all ends up on one platform. I'm sure some will be on Dirt Vision, others Flow Racing, some on SprintCarUnlimited.tv, and I've heard Lincoln Speedway is starting their own service, so that part of this could all just be very messy. I would also like to have heard that they involved more of the teams and drivers in these decisions. I've heard some pretty big names were not involved or aware until late in the game. That feels like a miss to me. With all of that said, though, I don't want my thoughts on this to seem like it's all negative. They aren't. This feels like a really significant bit of progress for that area, and I hope it goes well. That Central PA scene is so important to sprint car racing as a whole, and if managed right, this could be big for them. Feel free to drop your comments on the news below. I know people had a lot to say yesterday. Back to some dirt late model things. NASCAR Cup Series driver Carson Hocevar revealed yesterday his late model wrap for the Gateway Dirt Nationals. And I think we should kind of all take note here, including sprint car fans. This car is coming out of the Spire Motorsports shop. Spire is who Hocevar drives for in NASCAR. Spire also at the heart of still not public moves on the sprint car side that involve Gio Scelzi moving to a Spire-owned team with Eric Prutzman as crew chief and the purchased Jason Myers Racing High Limit franchise. This wrap for Hocevar features multiple Spire partners. Obviously, the big one here is the restaurant chain Chili's, plus Gainbridge and some others. With the connections that Spire and its parent company TWG Motorsports has, it makes me wonder if this car isn't maybe a preview of what Scelzi's car will look like once it's all finally revealed. I've heard a Spire dirt late model might appear a few more times in 2026, and between this and the sprint car stuff, seems as though Spire is taking a fairly serious interest in dirt racing. Next, I've got more silly season rumors for you. A few weeks ago, we found out from Hunt the Front, their guys, that Joseph Joyner had decided not to join JCM Motorsports for the 2026 Lucas season, and that he would instead stick with the family-owned car. That left JCM on the hunt for its next driver. It sounds like for at least the Gateway Dirt Nationals and maybe into 2026, Florida driver Brenden Smith is getting the nod. I've had a few folks send me images of a wrap that's going around for the 19M and Smith. The 20-year-old driver ran Lucas full-time in 2024 before pulling back to a pick-and-choose schedule this year. According to my race pass, he had 4 top 5s and 15 top 10s in 49 races. He's run well in regional competition, but in 84 career Lucas appearances has just 1 top 10 finish. That came at Huset's back in 2024. Some extra resources, though, from JCM and their side just might help him out here. Another situation to keep an eye on is Chris Madden and his future. He ran some races in 2025 for Cale Green after departing GR Smith's Team 22. Was most recently at World Finals and Sonoya for the Flow Series finale. He picked up 2 wins this year with Green, July 12th at with the Southern Nationals and July 14th at Volunteer. I've heard from multiple people that the deal, though, with Green ended after Sonoya, and Madden might have a new ride. We know there was some talk through 2025 that Wells Motorsports could revive their own team to create kind of an Infinity chassis house car. We know that Eric Wells did some testing. That team never really materialized, and Wells never went racing as far as I know. There was also a late season Facebook post about Wells getting a new truck and trailer set up from S&S. We talked a few weeks ago about this potentially being a destination for free agent Dalton Wilson, but I've had multiple sources tell me it's actually Chris Madden that's headed there. This was one I was sent a few times here recently by different folks, but I wasn't sure I believed it. One source, though, who hit me up this week really had my attention. So, I think this has a lot more steam to it. This could be a good place for Madden to land, knowing he likely doesn't want to run 50 or 60 races plus a season. He can run with Wells, help develop that chassis, and kind of race less and maybe closer to home. We've seen him involved previously with house car type situations. If I remember correctly, I think he was in with Longhorn several years ago. I'll watch for this one, though, as 2026 approaches. At Kern Raceway last night, it was a nice bounce back for Buddy Kofoid. The last time he was in a Keith Kunz midget this past weekend at Merced, he ended up crashed and out of the rest of the night after heat races. No problems, though, on Tuesday, going 6 to the win over Jacob Denny and Kevin Thomas Jr. KTJ led the first 12 laps from the pole, and then Kofoid got by on a restart on lap 13, drove away from there. Kofoid led laps in 3 of the 4 USAC midget races in California coming into last night, but just hadn't closed the deal yet. It was Kofoid's first USAC midget win since Lincoln Park back in June of 2023. He obviously doesn't race midgets nearly as much these days with his full-time deal with the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, so that's not altogether shocking. I think it'll definitely be a factor, though, at Ventura coming up, and Kofoid is still in search of his first Golden Driller at the Chili Bowl. In the championship standings, Justin Grant finishing 6 spots ahead of Cannon McIntosh certainly helped his cause, but a 52-point gap headed into the season finale is still a lot to overcome. USAC's Richie Murray says that a maximum of 76 points can be had on Saturday night, so it's still not over. Up next is Ventura Raceway for Turkey Night coming up on Saturday. Earlier this week, I wondered aloud on the show if Kyle Larson would be in attendance. He didn't race last night, but I did see a comment on one of my videos this week that Larson said somewhere he is racing Turkey Night. I have not seen those comments myself, so take that for what it's worth. The USAC Midget season finale will be live on Flow Racing if you are not headed to the racetrack. All right, that's the show for today. And a reminder, this was your last regularly scheduled daily show for this week. The normal schedule will kick back up again on Sunday. For tomorrow, though, stick around. I've got that hour-long interview with High Limits Brad Sweep. I got the show all edited and exported out last night, and it will hit the Dirt Tracker channels tomorrow. Brad was incredibly candid on a number of topics, including the future for sprint car tires, who he thinks the best drivers are right now, whether or not he's actually spoken with Brian Carter, and a lot more. It will be well worth your time. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.